All right. Oh, that's like that, huh? That's weird.
Maybe we're not.
No, I'm sure we're live. I'm sure
There
we're
we
live.
go. Okay, it just cut out to the waiting for LangTime screen.
No, I know. Anyway, hello everybody. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Wow. Well, hello, Jonathan, and all of our other hi sayers. Oh, I thank you, Jake. Thank you. Oh, my camera's a little. There we go. I, and it's funny because David asked me what I did to my hair, and I was like, I washed it. I have no idea, so I don't know. Maybe today there's more humidity than there has been for the last few days, so my hair was like, haha, and did its thing. Um, but yeah, it's just doing its thing. Um, Nice. Does it look like this too, Jake? It's a good hair washing day. Yes, we are doing Sarkezhe. We are returning to season 4. We're gonna do some Nor. Oh my word, it's a good speaking day. We're gonna do some more cat names, and so get into the cat stuff. And at some point today, we may or may not have a special guest. We're assuming we will, but things happen, and so.
Hello, special guest. It's me. But on Jesse's screen.
I love you.
Love you too.
Um,
All right. Okay.
and Jake has voluminous waves. I love it. Jake also washed their hair today.
In American English, is it also voluminous? I've wondered about
I
that.
don't think so,
Yeah, thanks.
but
Yeah.
voluminous is how
Yeah.
my brain immediately read that word.
My hair, on the other hand, is
That
terrible.
does not
Terrible.
mean incorrect.
Irredeemably terrible. So, yeah, no,
Great.
it's awful. So I'm trying to do something different, especially since we're kind of off season. I was experimenting with things, and sometimes we have things in the background so that we have to blank out the desktop. And I was thinking, well, what if we just made special windows for the applications? And so I was trying that out. Right now, this is the application for Safari, and I think we've seen this issue before, which is that if you choose Safari as a window, it shows everything that Safari has on the screen that you're on. And so we see our Patreon, and then we see part of the live chat.
Next
Because
to the window.
next to the window, that's the
that
live
is
chat.
the live
That is
chat.
live chat. Because it's also a Safari window. One thing we could do, if I actually shrink the live chat to the size of the window there, I could just put it up in the corner and leave it there. No, but then I'd always have to show.
Yeah.
Well, no, if you tiled it just right, I don't know.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
so just experimenting, but to kind of spare us for the time being, I think I'm gonna. Oh wow, it shows these too, huh? It's gonna minimize.
I don't know what it was that you just saw that it showed, but
It shows the
oh, it does show your email. This is
yeah. So like it shows
the menu.
yeah, the menu, because it just shows everything that Safari is showing. And that's because it does the application as opposed to the window. Like, I just want it to be the window, not the
Right,
application.
right.
But anyway, um, I wanted to mention a couple of things before we got started. Number one, where, way back when we started this Patreon, they had a thing called goals, right? And you could implement these goals at like patron levels, where it's like if you have a certain number of patrons, then we'll do this thing. And we had a goal on there that is so old that Patreon now doesn't even have goals anymore.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just gone. But that goal was if we ever got 65 paying patrons, then we would start implementing Conlang reviews. Remember?
Crap.
Yeah.
That It's such a lofty goal that we set so long ago.
Yeah, no,
Like the not the 65, but the conlang reviews.
yeah, and so like we would just, people would, submit their conlang or parts of their conlang, and then like we'd do a little episode to review it. Anyway, we were. I don't know if we were technically ever at 65, but yesterday at some point we had 64 and then gained a patron and lost a patron. It might have been lost and gained. And so we might technically never have been at 65. But we were so close. We're at 64 at the moment. So yeah, if we get one patron at some point soon, we'll be fated to that somehow. We'll see. I don't know. But
do my eyes look like my drowning face? Is that happening right now? Because yeah.
They wouldn't do that to you.
You wouldn't do that?
No, they wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't?
They wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But anyway, so I wanted to mention that. Ooh,
Matisse is back from the work Christmas party and won a bottle of Glühwein.
What's that?
Well, Glühwein is, it's like, oh, what's that one word we learned in Finnish?
Glögi.
Glögi.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and I was like, I think it's like Glühwein, but it's like a warm drink. It's like a mulled cider, so it's like a red wine mulled cider type thing, and you drink it warm. But it's like incredible when it's like really cold outside, and you go get your warm mug of Glühwein, and you drink it, and it's like your entire body just instantly warms up. It's fantastic. And so I was introduced to it at a Weihnachtsmarkt in Trier.
Ah.
And it was delightful.
Yeah, I also saw it at a Weihnachtsmarkt in no, not in Trier. I'm sorry, it would have been in Köln.
Yes.
It would have been in Köln. It was called. It wasn't it called der. Is it der Vermarkt? You're the one who's supposed to speak German.
No, I never claim that. You tell people I do, but I've never claimed it.
Okay, well, we're going to go with masculine. Der kleine Weihnachtsmarkt is what it was called. Der kleine Weihnachtsmarkt, and it was so called because it was essentially a little Christmas market inside the courtyard of a very small apartment complex. Like 2-story apartment complex. It was the smallest one, and it was the only one that was open while I was there. I was leaving the next day. They were going to be opening in the following days. But yeah, they had it there, in the pots, and they were all hot and everything, and they were serving.
I must say, not only would you be allergic to it, but you wouldn't like it.
I'm sure. And they also had, which I would never drink, and it's alcohol, which I would never drink. And they also had, of course, the heated nuts that they were selling, which I couldn't eat because I'm allergic. Yeah. But yeah, it was all there. It was magical. Anyway, I just wanted to make a note about the ongoing poll that we're doing. Season 7 is going to be starting in the new year. We're going to be doing our Fox language. In the interim, just in the few weeks before that, we're going to be probably working on Sarkezhe, because that's what we're working on the patron live stream. And our next patron live stream is going to be a unique event. So
yes, the 28th. That's that Saturday.
Probably.
Yes. 28th, because the 22nd is a Sunday. The 28th is a Saturday. And yes, it'll be a very special patron live stream. And so if ever you are thinking as a patron, I just keep missing these live streams, like if you're going to bookmark one, to make it to that Saturday live stream. Yeah,
Saturday, December 28th. So we're probably going to keep working on Sarkezhe to try to at least get all of the language stuff for the base game done. We need to get the cat names done and then move on to the dogs. So we still got a little ways. If we finish with the cats, we'll move on to Helchov. But
sorry, I was trying to get my knee around
for the season following season 7, we are going to start on the next expansion set of animals. Our first expansion set is going to be foxes and beavers, introducing the gambler and engineer classes. And then starting in season 8, we're going to be looking at more animals. So based on a previous poll, the next top 5 animals were bats, river otters, raccoons, squirrels, and badgers. And I've also come up with 5 more classes, specifically the 2 missing magic classes based on the magic system that we've created. The Pyromancer and the Geomancer, the ones that have plasma magic as their main, and the others that have solid magic as their main. So those 2 will be in there at some point in time. And then the other 3 that I'm very, very excited about. The Dancer, which I've had an idea for a long time. The dancing class is going to be, they're going to do stuff, but it's going to be based on movement on the board. So executing very specific movements and in patterns is going to do things. And their stats are going to be weak, sacrificed for movement, because they're going to have lots and lots of movement. So that's the Dancer class. The Chef class, which we came up with, where they will cook stuff up that others will be able to make use of, that will give them boosts and so on. And then the Cartomancer, this is one that I came up with that I really like the idea of, where essentially we're going to create our own set of tarot cards or tarot-like cards, so it's not going to be like the exact same. And then this class will have the ability to play them to a kind of common area so that the cards will be in play for everybody. And then they'll also be able to, my idea essentially was to play abilities where it'll be like, you play this and it says, if the cards show, say, 5 stones, then this happens. And so then by changing out one of the cards here, it will change this ability and so on.
Wow.
And so then each of the tarot cards that we design, they're going to have like varying numbers of elements. So that basically it's like you can change a card up here so that it aligns with whatever you're trying to play down here, or you can play stuff down here that'll effectively be spells that are based on the elements available there, right? And so essentially Cartomancers, if there's more than one on 2 different teams, they'll be like playing their own little mini game as they're each trying to get the stuff they want here in order for this stuff to work, you know? So that I think is going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so the vote right now is to essentially decide which animals we're going to do next. In terms of which animals are going to be most closely associated with which class, I think it was Danielle that came up with the idea that I liked the best. A lot of people ended up saying that bats should be dancers, but I'm kind of leaning towards river otters being dancers because I really like what you came up with. Badgers being geomancers, raccoons being cartomancers. Danielle specifically says, for some reason, I love the idea of them snickering over the cards they hold in their little paws. And then I was thinking that the squirrels then could be chefs, because that's Jessie's language, the squirrel language.
Yes.
And they would be chefs.
My little okoki.
Yes. And then the bats would be pyromancers. And I just have this image in my head of bats wearing little goggles and having singed ears.
Yes.
They're playing with fire. So the vote right now, by the way, looks like bats are in the lead, but this poll is going to stay open for the rest of the month. Basically right before our next stream. And so we will figure out what to do. And 4 of these are just going to be brand new languages, though potentially, no, badgers wouldn't be related to those. Potentially badgers and raccoon language could be related. But the squirrel language, of course, will be Jessie's Okoki, so it'll be a different type of season where we expand upon it. Anyway, all right, so I wanted to share that. And
Aww.
now
I also love Magpie says Okoki, more like Okuki.
Oh, yeah. And of course, it's Okoki.
Yeah, Okuki.
Okoki, my bad. All right, so now I need to open
hard initial
up.
stress, which I mess up all the time.
I'm going to bring this back so that I can see the chat. And then I'm going to open up OBS and I'm going to blank out Safari.
By the way, because somebody, I think on like Instagram or something, had asked like, wait, is this a language that just Jessie created or what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, hey, Carl. I do, and thank you, Jake. I do want to say that it was very accidental. Like, I had not intended on making what could be a LangTime language on my own. It was more that I needed, for this particular series of exercises in the textbook that I had written, I needed a way to say, like, there's no right or wrong answers. This is like, we're building this language together. What would you do with it? You know, and then like, what consequences would that have if you made these decisions? And so it was effectively like what I called a teaching conlang, where it's like it's growing as you know, you work on more features. And I needed to pick speakers for this language. And I wanted to stay away from humans because as you start like describing features or describing where they live or like units or whatever, I think sometimes it's best to get out of our heads with potential like stereotypes and stuff that I wanted to get into. Like, let's just pick an animal that's fun, but not only an animal, but one that no matter where you are in the world, you probably have some sort of mental image of what this animal looks like and how it behaves. And squirrels exist really worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other animals are much more, you know, geographically centered if you pick something else. Or their behaviors are very different depending on, you know, like your prototype of a certain type of bird or something. And so anyway, I picked squirrels because that's something that is sort of universal and very neutral in terms of, you know, what we say about them. So anyway, that's where that started. And then David later was like, oh, well, I was going to have squirrels in the LangTime universe. And I was like, oh, well, here's just one branch of the giant squirrel family.
I like the idea, though. I like the idea. And it'll be fun to build out when we get there. Okay, what about Antarctica? Get out of here. All right.
Yeah, well, there is an exercise where you think about penguins. Although I don't think penguins are in the south, are they? They're only in the north? No, wait, there's penguins in Antarctica.
Yeah, they're only in the north, remember? Because they're also in, like, Chile.
When you say they're only in the north, did you mean
South?
Okay. Just checking. Puffins are up north.
Yeah.
Yes. Very different bird, but
Mm-hmm.
puffins. Okay, anyway.
Irish puffins.
Let's do Sarkezhe.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right, so let's figure out what we're doing. So since I'm not sharing my desktop, people won't be able to see the Google Doc. Incidentally, though, if you want to see what we're working with, I'm gonna share a link, at least for the share one, which isn't necessarily as big as mine, but we are working on character names. So we've created a bunch of character classes, or I'm not character classes, but you know, we've created a bunch of classes, and these classes are. Oh, I'm sorry. We in all of the languages, except for the Fox language and the Beaver language. Beaver language, we're getting close. We've come up with names for all of the classes. We haven't come up with names for all of the names. And by names, of course, I mean the names of the animals.
Well, you're looking very confused. What happened?
It's because there are no names entered in my sheet for the cats. Did we not get there yet?
We haven't done any names
We
yet.
haven't done any names because we had to do a whole bunch of other stuff. We were just doing the pre-stuff to get to the part where we could do the names. That was what was going on.
Yeah, we made some decisions, and I believe we came up with
Also,
names of the giant cats.
Is Bubba here? What's this?
And by not names, I just mean words.
Yeah. Bubba wants to change his word for 12.
That was an old note, wasn't it?
Is Bubba here? I don't think Bubba's here.
We don't have a word for 12 yet, I don't think. Bubba wanted to have a word mean 12, and I think wanted to change that for him. Bubba was here. But as far as I recall, we hadn't finished the numbers yet, and I'm going to the numbers chart. Indeed, we have no forms. We have orthographic, but no word forms beyond 5.
Speaking of subtitles in general and subtitling, and also especially subtitling movies, Jake has now got an internship doing subtitling. So in particular, Jake, but also everybody, have you seen the movie Day Watch or Night Watch? Especially the first one, Night Watch.
When you say like this is 2 different movies?
It's a series. So the first one is Night Watch, the second one is Day Watch, and then the third one, I can't remember what the third one is. These are Russian movies.
Is it Noon Watch? Twilight Watch?
But these movies are, I think, it is the only movie I think I've ever seen that is meant to be watched with subtitles. Like, I feel like if you watch this movie without subtitles in Russian, presumably because you speak Russian, you are missing like at least 25% of it. It's extraordinary. I've never seen subtitling like this ever. But it is an action movie, and it's a fun action movie, especially the first one. It's just about vampires. And it's really good. Like the effects are good, the action is good, but the subtitles in this movie, I've seen it with English subtitles. I presume they do this with all of them. The subtitles are artistically done. They're placed all over the screen. They do things like fade out and burn and do things like they do like all these crazy things with subtitles that fit thematically with whatever is going on with the scene. To the point that it feels like you were supposed to watch it with subtitles, and I can't imagine what it's like to watch it without. I've never seen anything like this. It's extraordinary. I think the first one is the best to watch because I think by maybe like the second and the third one, they're doing the same type of thing, but it's more predictable. The first one is just off the walls. I've never seen anything like this. It was extraordinary, and I think it's something that conlangers should watch just because it's so wild. Anyway. Okay, so why did I mention that? Mythical big cats. Did we get names for all of them?
I thought we might have.
Oh, here we go. Okay, right. We got that.
Well, we have Ocelot. Did we not do words, or did we just not enter them here?
We may not have finished doing them yet, but also, did we ever make a decision about what I have highlighted here?
I thought we had agreed that it was going to be we were going to have a special naming class. So suffixes that show up.
I thought so too. Getting a call. I've got to take it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Hello.
So anyone who was at our last patron stream or has watched it since it aired, if you hear us saying some incorrect information about decisions we have made, that would be great if you could kind of keep us keep us honest, so to speak. But what I remember is that we had decided we would have
Well, I'm gonna
another noun
just
class
text you
marker,
directions, okay?
but a noun class marker that was specific to personal names.
Oh,
But then it
don't-
would just
don't-
take
don't do that.
class one agreement when it came to like, verb agreement or anything else. It would just take class one agreement. So, like the cat class.
If you take a left out of the airport, there's going to be a lot of
But,
amusement park. But if I send you,
but,
okay.
ooh. Oh gosh, yeah, I at first read your comment and like just stopped at I'm building a table and I was like, oh, that's so cool.
I'm gonna text you
Also cool though
directions.
that it's a table of the consonant system of Proto-Northwest Caucasian. Wow, yes,
Can you
I bet
do
it
me
is
this
wild. Okay, so Jake says it all sounds good so far. Excellent.
Great.
So we had thought of that. The ocelot is
Cool. All right.
Quijada.
Yeah, so I'll text you
And
this.
so I just want to remind myself where that name or that term came from, because that's not a name, that's just like. Oh, wait, wasn't it? We had decided it would be like something with tail? Feistiness! Feisty! That's right. And then. Oh, the names. Atha. Was Atha our naming suffix? Was that it? Because otherwise the suffix for a noun class 1 would be mu or something like that. So I think we have Atha. Where does Atha come from? Let's see. Atha comes from hero champion. Deity god. Okay, so this may actually not be a naming thing. This may just be for the 5 cat. I mean, we're not going to call them deities, I don't think, but the 5 mythical cats may have Atha as their naming suffix. I don't know that that means personal names will also have Atha. But that's where that comes from. Okay, so I'm going to write this down so that way my brain can get on track today. One thing about me, if I don't write it down, it just doesn't exist. It really helps me to organize my thoughts. So Atha, we have a naming suffix of the big cats. When David gets back, we'll see if he thinks that was supposed to be like an actual name suffix. But Kielyethe is the feisty big cat. Is effectively what that is. Okay. Right, Carl? And Carl, I love what just happened here. I love thinking that we're part of the avant-garde. Okay, so that is so far where we are. Jake, I'm feeling your pain from yesterday. Jake had to host solo. I'm very happy I don't have to do this whole episode by myself. David leaves the room and I feel like I'm floundering like a little fish at the edge of the water. And Jake had to do all of Let's Have a Booba yesterday by himself. I know Miles was somewhere. I forget where Miles was. Not on the road again, right? Like you were somewhere. And yeah, Jake I thought did great. We were watching. I should have taken a picture because Jake was all big on our TV. It was very exciting. Miles was working That's what it is. I know, 9 to 5. What a great song. With some classic Dolly Parton. I think my partner is coming back. That's what David wanted to say.
Okay. All right. So what do we got?
Okay, so we had decided we were going to do some sort of naming system where there's going to be like a naming suffix that's a different noun class, and yet it, just patterns grammatically as a class 1 noun.
Yeah.
The Kilyethe name, or term rather, it has the suffix atha,
Yeah.
which is specific to the big cats. I don't know that all personal names are going to have atha.
No, they're not. None of them are.
But that's something that I think probably should get repeated through the other 4 words that we come up with for cougar, lynx, bobcat, and jaguar. Because that atha is effectively like, it comes from something that would have referred to the big cats.
What was the protoform for that?
ATHA. And so it, in different noun classes, can refer to like hero, champion, deity.
Yeah, I think that was only supposed to be. I think that was only supposed to be for the big cats. Does anybody remember?
I did a lot of talking, and Jake had said that it sounded like what I was saying was in line with what they remembered. So I think that I have not yet spoken wrongly.
Okay. I would really love to remember if we intended for these auths to be the name suffix. I really don't think we did, but
I don't think so either, with it being so highly regarded. The cats think a lot of themselves, but I feel like this could be something that we could incorporate, though, where if a cat reaches a certain status, like a level 5 super respected, they may get the atha suffix. But like then the other cat names are some other suffix. I think it was a way
to get the clan names, and I think Jake is right.
And so anywho.
Okay, so feistiness.
Right. So yeah, we need to effectively come up with what we think of what we think each one would be associated with in terms of qualities or physical characteristics that would be regarded specifically and highly enough that they would call these, the 5 big cats by it. We've got ocelot done. We only need 4 more. And we did a lot of research on like features of these big cats. So like we did do stuff in our last stream.
Why does this come out as I? Where's
Are you talking about Kaylee?
Yeah.
Is something in the sound changes?
What's the protoform for Yun? Or
for what, Woody? I didn't hear what word you wanted.
I think it's wrong. I think these words are wrong.
Can you?
Unless.
I would love to know what thought process is happening over here.
my god. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that the word Kilyate is wrong. I think it's supposed to be Kelyate. I think, you know how like we had the sound change where E goes to I and then schwa goes to E? I think this was one of those dupsy upsies where it's like, you know, because the proto schwa goes to E, giving you Kelly, I was like, oh, so then it's Kelly, and then you put that in the sound changer and it's like, oh, so it becomes Killy. Because, you know, and you mixed up whether that was a schwa in the protoform or an E in the protoform. Because I can't replicate this form in Lexergy unless I make the protoform E. Yeah, that was a mistake.
So Kaliethe instead of Kilyethe.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Because then all the other words that we have around it are all K, like
Yeah.
Kiliha or Keli.
Yup. That was, that's, you know, as they call it, you know, when you end up mucking your crook, that's what happens.
David done mucked his crock.
Mm-hmm. Now we gotta change these two, and okay. Now we have fixed what we did last time. And we can get on to the stuff that we're going to mess up this time.
Side note, Luxembourg, I tell you what, I'm coming up with words that may change all of them. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate this win.
Cheers.
Cheers. And not just because I need all the headache help I can get, and so I'll take any amount of caffeine that comes out of this tiny little coffee candy.
Mmm. Go Pico. Don't muck your crook.
My goodness. All right.
All right. So the name for the ocelot was based on Feist.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so funny if we based one of these on Whisker, and so it was, we actually had Gileathe.
No, David.
Mm-hmm.
No.
All right. The lynx is the one with the big ears.
We put kindly by links,
Kindly.
right?
Right.
We have to be kind. Is ukuros.
Kind, practical, scrappy. And then it's kind of like majestic. That would be the jaguar. So we have a word for kind?
We do. Uku.
Oh, that's so cute. Let's see what would happen at, in Lexergy if we just threw that in.
Ukuethe.
Ukiwithe.
Ukiwethe.
Ukiwithe. That's terrible. How do we have this vowel harmony language that ends up with ukiwithe? Ukiwithe. Throwing adjectives in here.
That's a good question.
Well, hello. Hello. FG con acento? FG con acento. Right?
I don't know, but I'm loving this idea for a jaguar that's a vampire.
I think it may be a play on how and I think most kind-hearted people pronounce the word jaguar.
Hmm?
As opposed to jaguar. Which to me sounds like, wash the dishes.
Are you making fun of my people?
No.
Okay. So is it just that we had all of these joining with back? That it came out so nicely?
Wait
Or
a minute.
Front? How did this one come out this way?
With a tilde, that's not how you say that in Spanish. That's be what you've written there is FG con acento, but an acento is that. Anyway, sorry, what were we saying?
I was just asking. Well, we do have. So uku becomes ukiwi in one of the cases.
Okay.
So we do it.
Might as well lean into it. Oh, wait. I did one Wiktionary. Hold on a sec. I gotta.
I mean, it's very fitting for the lynx, which is spelled with a Y, to have an E sound in its name. The lynx is now potentially ukiweta.
Yeah, I thought that tilde in Spanish was just tilde, which it is. And there's also this word virgulia? Virgulia. I don't know that word. Virgulia. Huh. Never heard that. But yeah, I don't think that you can...
Jonathan says Wiktionary lists them as synonyms. I'm not sure if that's acento and tilde is what's being referred to there, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's called tilde in Spanish. So FG con acento does not refer to a tilde. No way. What? Wait. Hold on a sec. Accent mark? Really? You can call the tilde an accent mark.
That's what I'm seeing too.
Well,
And then specifically, the other one, the Virgulia. I can't see how many L's are in there. I just see a little marching order of straight lines. I couldn't see how many L's were where. And I find that fascinating that we, as a language that uses neither in its, writing of regular words, and by regular I just mean our own words rather than borrowed words, we've got such strong feelings about the tilde versus the accent.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter because you never put a tilde over a vowel or an accent mark over an N in Spanish.
Mm-mm.
But,
Learn something.
do we have, I want to see this used in a sentence. Will this link to it? Oh well.
David.
I know. And the thing is, like, we're not even on desktop, so nobody's seeing what I'm doing.
No, I was about to tell you something funny.
Oh yeah.
And a fun twist of things, because we had said kind for links, but then you had also mentioned that their ears are features that we were drawn to. And I went to go look up the word for ear, and it's directly below boots. So uku and uts, however, uts comes out utsotho. And so that's, if you like that better than ukiwete, there's utsotho.
Oh, a sec. I'm actually wondering something. Here, have we done the... we didn't do the orthography section in this language. Is there a backwards C shape in this? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
B, C, A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Q, R, S, T, U, V. V! Oh my gosh. Okay.
Do we actually have a V sound? What does the V use to spell?
W.
Oh. Oh, look, there it is in all the wow.
I want to show you something. I'll put this big on the screen. Okay. This is how you spell kind. If we decided to put a W in there, honoring the OKEW, it's a cat with two little ears.
My gosh.
So yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah, we got to do it. All right. Which one is this?
Friend? Ukuete?
Yeah, like what animal?
Lynx?
Lynx. Okay. So.
Because we had decided they were kindly. Hope that wasn't a. Yeah, because they're the healers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to put. Okuete.
And remember that it's okiwete. This is just like okoki. We got to remember initial stress.
He's saying I don't know how to speak my own language.
A little bit.
Listen, I'm not a squirrel. I'm just an ambassador.
Okay. Links. Ukubete. And that will be spelled U-K U umlaut W-E-T-H-E.
I love our only note for Jaguar is annoyed by cougar.
Otherwise, that is good. I am tempted to do an alternate spelling here. Just to have that little kitty face in there. Is that really how we spell TH in this language? Just a T followed by an H? Like I think it is, but...
I think so too, but we'd have to look up.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, I have an idea for the next name,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to see what it comes out as. Okay. If you like it, the name will come out as Yachatha. And it would be based on the root paw, which we get for the tool class. And this would be for our hardworking, practical. I get so scared every time that happens, and it's like I know it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Hardworking.
For our bobcat, slow, they're practical, they're hardworking, and so they get named. And that root never gets actually used for paw, by the way, because if you recall, it was an old root that got replaced, and so it's in our noun classes, but it's not like its own word.
Right.
We would like to the point where we would actually need to create an entry. We haven't created an entry for it yet.
What's the protoform again?
It's J A and then the capital R. Yah, that Ithkuil.
So it's just Yagata. Oh, I love that. I love that. All right, let us do it.
But yeah, we need to create, and we had some other forms listed.
Oh no, the root is here.
Do we? Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful. I say we had some words listed that we want. Oh, it'd have to be under Y. Looking under J. Like, where is it? I don't see it. Oh, David. Oh, David.
Uh-huh.
This may be a secret that I'm not supposed to share with other people.
Can't wait.
Oh, David, how I love you.
Oh.
Another secret
That's nice.
an actual secret, since I think most of you know that I kind of like this guy sitting across from me. David's really a softie. I don't think people know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No one would ever guess you're nice.
Seriously?
I'm really kidding you.
Thank goodness.
I was just Josh and David.
I hope so.
Right, Jake? But yeah, no, that wasn't a ringtone. That was our front gate, and so that was a little different.
I mean, it is a ringtone.
But it's not like.
It's actually my primary ringtone.
Oh, yeah, but we just don't hear your phone ring very often because it's never on.
Yeah, we've come to the age where everybody puts their phone on silent, except for my sister for some reason.
But no, a lot of people know you're nice. I just like to kid you because we have our little jokes that someone was riffing on how we would review conlangs, and
hang on a sec.
my review would be everything's wonderful, and your review would not be that.
I'm nice. I just, say things truthfully that hurt people. Hey!
Okay, so the adventure has concluded. Our weary traveler. We are, yes.
Don't let me interrupt.
Directly in the middle. And so.
Well, you're going to have to come in and say hi.
Yeah, let me put this down.
We didn't set up the room.
Well, no.
Don't worry about it. You can do it later.
All right.
We can do it later unless John needs a nap right now. Oh, I just said who it is.
No, I had coffee on the plane, so I'm wired.
Nice.
I deliberately wired myself up.
Here, let me
Didn't need it.
let me move this chair for the time being so that you can pull a chair up next to me over here.
Now, I have to say I'm very disappointed at my arrival here because every other time I have ever been in this place, this table has had servings sitting here of several different types of candies and sweets and nuts and things. And oh, hey, there it is. I missed it.
You're just not looking close enough.
I'm just not looking closely enough.
We got our spinny table of desserts. And David, I think in all good intentions, you just blocked off John's path to the seat.
There's
There's no way you're gonna walk around that.
Lindor.
This is a comedy of errors. But,
So are we like live right now?
Yes,
yes,
we're
Listening
live.
to all of our banter here?
Yeah, everybody's
Yes,
waiting for you to
and-
show up.
Math Chamaroan, everyone.
And David has a seat for you there.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to sit here in the
Yes,
hallway.
that's the timeout seat.
All right, go ahead.
That's for when we say too much candy and caffeine is not good for John.
There we go. And we're just gonna
Greetings.
keep you on the. Oh wait,
Oh no! Don't subject them to have to look
What?
at my face.
how does this work? How
don't
does
know,
how
but
does the
you're-
logic of this never work?
You may be giving someone some really bad seasickness as you just like swing that around.
Just don't look. Hold on a sec. Okay.
As I munch on my Lindor chocolate ball here.
Yeah.
John had the audacity to claim that we didn't have any goodies set out on our table.
So here now you can see what people are saying.
Oh gosh, will my ego survive it?
Yeah.
I think you're getting some hellos.
John Quixote. All right, my literary ancestor. Hello back to you guys.
Yeah. So those who were at CopyCon, of course, will remember John and his presentation and will likely have met him. Those who were not at CopyCon, what on earth were you doing?
And if you weren't at CopyCon, then you may recognize John from the several times we have streamed from John's house. And
That's
John
true.
has come on to say hello.
That's true. Oh.
And so now they're returning the favor by putting up with me for a few days. So.
Yeah. By the way, some more news, might as well share it. We are going to be returning to the Bay Area in the coming semester.
Okay.
Not sure exactly when. So if you're going to be out of town at some point, please let me know.
Last week of January we'll be actually down here.
That's right. And of course, the first option is the last week of January.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But that's all right. There are other ones. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so I know that a lot of you are going to want to ask John a lot of questions about his time at the DMV. He's agreed to answer any questions,
God.
but he is not going to answer any questions though about how to fill out a change of address form. That you have to figure out on your own. Man, actually,
That seems fair.
you got a.
This is interesting stuff you have on your screen here.
Oh yeah, this is our cat language.
It's an interesting script. Is this something that they would be able to claw in the dirt or what?
Oh no, we've given all of our animals. We just gave them human hands.
I see.
In other words, at some point in time, you have to decide, where realism ends and where fantasy begins. And we decided that our fantasy is, our realism is going to end at the point that we just want to create human languages. So,
By the way, I just paid a lot of money for some fancy water with electrolytes in it at the airport. You know how much they overcharge you for things there. So since it's sitting in my backpack going to waste right now, I'm going to go grab it so that I can actually take advantage of the fact that I bought some really fancy
Some
electrolyte filled water.
all right, and I'm gonna fill these peanuts back up.
I love how everyone just leaves me. Thank you.
all right. Just entertain them.
And I will say, Juno, I don't know where you live, and this may vary state by state, and of course country by country, but if you move, you may still need to go to the DMV, especially if you move states. You definitely need to go to the DMV. So,
Why would you subject anyone like that?
little FYI.
If you want to send someone who's not familiar with the United States somewhere where they can get themselves a instant cultural education, I recommend a Walmart, personally.
Oh no, DMV is a wild intersection of life. I just more recently spent 4 hours in a DMV.
Oh, gosh.
So
Lucky you. I spent 3.5 years in a DMV, working in one before I finally escaped and went to headquarters where things were a lot, well, less hectic, shall we
Less-
say.
yes,
More
yes.
political, but less hectic.
You know, you've got to meet up with Barry Garcia at some point in time. You guys could exchange stories about customer service. There you go. Some fresh ones.
Customer service, they don't, DMV employees aren't required to take that course.
And also, DMV is Department of Motor Vehicles. Oh, Mateus beat me to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something we have to do here for, you go to the DMV for driver's licenses, but then you also do things like
Register
car
your
titles, register vehicle, your license plates, and so on. And so usually you only have to actually visit the DMV like after a major change has happened, or you know, to renew your license, which is now what, like every 10 years, or it's actually quite lengthy now, which is nice. But like it's like no matter what, and they do all these wonderful things to try to speed it up. It's like no matter what, like just something goes wrong, and you end up sitting, and then there ends up being that family next to you who has young children, and they don't have their kids put that kids show on you know.
I could tell you a lot of stories, a lot of entertaining
play it.
stories from my time at the DMV.
And at some point, everyone just gets angry. And so I always think that sometimes I get a little better treatment because I show up and smile and am nice to the person who is helping me instead of yelling at them. Because I understand it's not their fault. That I
At
had
which
to
point
wait.
they are probably thinking, oh, at least someone took their medication this morning.
But yeah, so what that is, you know, I do take my nice pills every morning.
Speaking of fancy water, I want to tell you this. So, I was at in 2013. I was at TED, and one of the things they had outside of TED, it was some company, and they had this chamber there that, if you stood in it, you had like 3 different settings that would apparently give you positively charged ions or something, and like. I absolutely did it because I was like, this sounds like absolute bullshit. I have to enjoy this. And it's like you go inside and it's like this mirrored chamber and it has all these little lights on it and it plays like, you know, new agey music as, you know, something allegedly happens. I assume they were accumulating your organs or something. And
Actually, I have a linguistics-related, a language-related story from DMV in my early years there that I could share with your viewers if they're interested.
ooh, okay.
Although it's a little bit, well, no, I'll just tell it because it's exactly what happened. So I'm not making any value judgments about it or social judgments about it. But early in my DMV career, this was back in around 1980. Oh my gosh, would have been 1982. And I happened to spend the year of 1982 as a driver license examiner in the Westminster, Orange County field office of the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Very nearby to where we are.
And as those of you who are either old enough or have know your history of Southern California in any minute degree, 1982 was the primary year that what the press called the boat people, unquote, quote unquote, descended upon Southern California. These were the Vietnamese refugees following the fall of the South Vietnam to the Viet Cong, etc. A lot of Vietnamese refugees arrived in Southern California, and disembarkation spot number 1 for them was the city of Westminster in Orange County. So a lot of them descended upon the DMV in order to get either California driver licenses or California identification cards. And at the time, the process involved them having to fill out with paper and pencil an application which they gave their name and other identifying information. And we had to run that name through the DMV mainframe computer system. And some of you might realize or be aware that back in 1982, the only kind of computers that such bureaucratic entities had were, dumb terminal connections to a gigantic mainframe up in Sacramento, California. So there was literally only one computer terminal in the entire office that all computer requests had to go through, and you had to wait while each one was done one at a time. And so the person would have to wait about 10 minutes in the lobby until their name was called. And this was to determine whether they had ever applied for an identification card or driver license in the past. We couldn't have duplicate records after all. So all these Vietnamese refugees are applying on these forms, and they're getting run in the computer, and the computer record comes back. And if they don't have a record already, then one has just been created for them. And they get their name called out into the lobby for them to come up to the window for them to begin the application process. Well, the lady at the Westminster DMV office was a sweet lady named Mava, but she had a very interesting sense of humor. She was actually a very, very intelligent, well-educated woman, but she liked to portray herself as an aw shucks, down-home kind of person who was not well-educated in order to get laughs from that. And so when she would bring back these records from the computer terminal, she would very, very gleefully and loudly shout out the names of these Vietnamese persons into the lobby in order for them to come to the window. And of course, as some of you who are aware of Vietnamese phonology and naming practices, we have lots of Vietnamese names whose spelling, if anglicized or if pronounced in an anglicized way, sounds like a lot of English four-letter words. Names like P-H-U-C, names like B-I-C-H, things like L-O-N-G and D-O-N-G and things like that. So this particular woman, Mava, she just regaled the lobby in a loud voice, shouting out all these names into the lobby. And when everyone would look at her like she was very strange, she would just point to the printout and say, "That's their name. What am I supposed to do?" So she had a lot of fun with Vietnamese names.
Ooh, sorry. So it was North Vietnamese that went to Europe? So was this like, now I'm curious, so was this at the end of the war? Like were they escaping the North Vietnam, or was this after the war?
Oh, this was after the war, but
no, I'm talking about for Europe, because most everybody here in Orange County is or was South Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
All right. By the way, and if anybody has any thoughts on jaguars.
Oh, any thoughts? I have so many that I am writing down. I got notes. All right.
Oh.
I have more specific notes for cougar, so if you don't mind, I'm going to start there.
Okay. By the way, these peanuts come from Costco, and I swear they're the best peanuts. They're
a lot of
good.
products from Costco are actually the best that you
at being themselves. All right.
All right. Because I do have ideas for jaguar, but we don't have very many of the roots actually created, and by very many, I mean like any except one.
Okay.
For cougar, one of the things I had thought, because they are the casters, so I was thinking something related to artifact, and we use the root ich for claw mark to not only refer to writing and things like that, but it's also used in a compound that we use to create a word to refer to like a staff or something a magic user, a caster would use, like in their hand. So that would be one root. Another root to look at is hot, QAT, which is the base of where we get the generic word for magic. And then sice, to flow, is where we get a word for caster. Sites, which is to flow, it's water, it's rivers, it's
Oh, it is?
things like that, yeah.
Can you, I don't like being on camera. So.
All right, you've done seeing John.
But the sitesmo is,
Oh, brother. Okay, so...
you know, like the generic, the caster, so that's...
Well, okay, so
what they're
this
called.
is another... Oh, brother, this is another long story. So, you remember last time we were up there, John, I explained the dilemma about choosing magic in the game. And it led to a major, major redesign that I'm still in the middle of.
As I recall, I gave you a suggestion of how about doing like preset card selection or something like that.
Yeah. And an upshot of this, an unintentional upshot of this, was I changed the way that magic works in this game. Originally, I had chosen these magic classes because there's 6 interconnected schools of magic that go in a kind of a circle. I put them in a hexagon.
I know.
I defined the magic classes as being able to use the 3 of these that are adjacent. And so,
I see where this is going.
yeah. And so one of these classes was able to use air, water, and plasma magic, right? No. Yeah.
Plasma, air, liquid.
Yeah. And I don't know, in my head, felt like liquid was the main one, but when I did the redesign, it suddenly became the case because there were too many options. I wanted to severely reduce the number of options. I made it so that each class, the middle one is their main one. And only like in special circumstances could you use the ones to either side. And so the main casting class for the cats, which I used to think of as kind of a liquid one because there wasn't any reason for one to be supreme over the other, they now primarily use air magic. And...
Wind flows like water.
It does, but like all the things were named based on water. Wind does flow like water, but this is really frustrating.
Are we still trying to come up with a route for jaguar? We seem to have suddenly gone onto a tangent or something.
No,
I missed it.
The problem is Jessie had some suggestions, and one of them was based on this word, which gave us the word for all of the casting classes, which is to flow, which did originally have to do with water. This is where we get 2 of our words for water. Also our word for river.
Isn't it our water class or something? Like, isn't it used as a class marker?
Is it a class marker?
No, because liquid is a W, so that comes from somewhere else.
That, of course, was inspired by Old Jeeler, which this was originally... Anyway, so...
Which I turned into a gambling game in my first board game.
Sheila?
Yeah.
That's right.
Jake
Yeah.
says the jaguar pattern does look a bit like raindrops on a puddle. I love that. I will say, though, if you like the claw, where claw gets used to be associated with potentially artifacts, Ijete would be the name, and so we would get an Ethe to go with, because, you know, we have Ata, we've got, this would be a second Ethe.
This would be a third.
Oh, I thought it was only the second, because I thought the other 2 were Athas.
There would be 3 front vowels and 1 back vowel.
May I make
an
offhanded suggestion or just offer something, an observation? I just recently got back from a trip to Argentina, and while I was there, I happened to pass by a jaguar, or for our friends across the pond, a Jaguar dealership in Buenos Aires, of all places. or on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. And the Spanish word for jaguar, at least down there, is jaguar, spelled with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, in Argentina, they pronounce initial Y followed by a vowel as a. I always got these mixed up. Is it palatoalveolar or alveolo-palatal? The little C with the curl on the bottom end of it.
Oh, alveolo-palatal.
Okay, alveolo-palatal grooved fricative. Essentially, the grooved sibilant version of C with cedilla, IPA, the palatal slit fricative. So,
Yeah.
So they pronounce it shaguar. So because of that and that initial alveolo-palatal fricative being all over the place in Argentine Spanish, it really stuck in my head. So it would be fun if you could find a root that began with your equivalent sound or the nearest thing to it in your cat language.
Okay, so
in homage to
with
Shag.
that, to keep something like Ijete on the table, so we've got the H in there.
Yeah.
Ijete. Which, I mean, we can always, for the last one, go for an odd to make sure we have like 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You know. But another one that I had written down was that cougar, because with cougar and jaguar, 2 of the biggest things that David had noted is these 2 have a bit of a rivalry. So cougar could be associated with hiss, and that protoform for hiss is just an X. So it would just be Hatha.
Oh, it's an interesting idea. But yeah, actually, we don't have initial palatals in this language. You
No,
can
but that
only
would be
get
the
palatals
closest.
intervocalically,
Would
right?
be that, you know, the
Yeah.
closest would be to move it back, because we do have the velar, and you get that kind of sound.
By the way, I needed to check on something because I don't think I wrote the case forms correctly. If the root ends with ah, need the genitive and the accusative. Do we have accusative in this language? What's that one with
We've got core, genitive, benefactive, allative, ablative, and illative.
what's kos? Kos, gos, that one. Kes.
Allative?
Allative. Okay, so I need the genitive and the allative if
For
something ends in ah. What's its
And those pattern is back vowels, right? Yeah.
yeah, because
There we go. Okay. So it'd be. Oh, that one's nasal. So it'd be like whether it comes out as a K, G, or an angma, os, would be the allative.
with an O.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
And then ablative would be O, O-O-H. Oh, wait.
No.
Wait, what class are we in? Sorry.
Okay, so it's O, and then that one's ah. Okay. I got it.
No, wait. What?
I got it. What?
It depends on what class we're in, because. No, even a class 5 has akos
yeah.
and then aya.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what class. It just matters what the previous vowel is. What's the one that I screwed up that I now need to fix? It was the one that we just did. It was Bobcat. It was Bobcat, and so then that needs to be an O, and that needs to be an O as well, and that one at least is fixed. Honestly, this whole Sitesmo thing has just completely thrown me for a loop, and it's now all I can think about. I already changed the name of one of the classes because I realized this. I changed the name of the bunny that goes to study under the cats. And I had to, you know. And this was like the main one. This was like, oh gosh, this is so frustrating. It does make sense though that the cats wouldn't truck with water.
It does.
Yeah.
Although I think also when we had talked about it, one of the reasons we chose water was because effectively it would be like, I can control water, and that would be like the biggest deal for the cats. And so we named it after the water instead of the air or the plasma, because it was like...
Oh my God. And the thing is, in order, if we actually wanted to implement a switch, we'd have to switch we'd have to essentially have to switch the magic using classes, the magics of the rabbits with the cats. And the rabbits would now be air magic as opposed to water magic. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Why don't we just change the name of Sitesmo? Because literally, like...
It was borrowed into all the other languages. Like, the term was, it was the one term that was, like, borrowed into everything else. Oh, but you're right. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. We could also just change the meanings, I suppose. But then, no, we couldn't do that. We couldn't do that.
Not with sites, because it's built into other words.
Yeah, and what does the root actually mean?
Running water.
Oh, God. Kill me. See what I've done? This is all everybody else's fault but mine. Actually, you were the one that gave me the idea. It was your fault. It was your fault.
Oh, I see. Well, if you had never asked for my opinion in the first place, you would have been spared the trouble, all the trouble.
If you hadn't given me such stupid good advice. But you're right. No, I think the thing that makes the most sense is to come up with an entirely new term.
I have a different idea.
Okay.
And I want you to just hang on. Okay. Here's your fix.
Huh.
So it's gonna fix everything, John.
Mm-hmm.
We had said that we don't actually use sites to mean water.
Mm-hmm.
The word way is used, but we do see it in like Siteswo and Sitesbo, river, running water kind of things. Okay, so that's step one. However, David, that older root, sites, which we have defined as running water, could just be flow. Air flows, water flows, and so effectively by putting Siteswo in the class of water, what we're saying is it is moving liquid. And so sice is really just to flow at its core. It's no longer running water at its core. It is to flow at its core.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
Really expected more excitement.
I like it. I like the idea.
You know, you both like it, so I'm gonna go for it. I haven't gotten through the shame part of it yet. You know, of just feeling bad for doing something stupid.
It wasn't stupid at the time. At the time, it went completely in line with everything that was laid out. The problem is we've got a very complicated system now of 6 languages that are interconnected.
Yeah.
With magic users that stem from the cats, because the cats are the casters.
It's actually, I mean, it does make a lot of sense.
Actually, I don't think you even need to change the original meaning of sites from running water, because running water, if you think about what it actually is and what it's doing, has 2 components to it. The material, substance, water, and the action component, what it's doing, flowing. And so running water is flowing water. And then using that as a basis for other things that flow is simply taking the action part of the word and analogizing it to other contexts, air, magic, whatever you want to have flow. So it could just be using that half of the meaning of the original word as an analogous or essentially borrowing it to other contexts.
Totally makes sense. I like Jesse's idea better. So we're going to change it to meaning-based flow. Makes a lot more sense than having 2 original words for water, which we never had a very good explanation for.
Because we have standing water as mer.
Yeah. Wait. We have 3 words for water? We had 3 words for water. We did not need 3 words for water.
I don't know why we...
How did that happen?
I don't know. But I'm changing all these notes to flow. we are getting rid of the running water.
Yeah. Oh, these protoforms are listed wrong. That's why I couldn't find them.
Because, yeah, then the Seitzras is to flow.
Someone wants to know how much I charge per hour for conlang counseling. Well, it depends on whether you're offering me milk or dark chocolate. So,
by the way, I can't remember. You're not one of the people that dislikes caramel, are you?
I tolerate caramel. It's not one of my favorites. I'll eat things with caramel in it, but I'm just as happy not eating caramel. Let's
Well,
put it that way.
because let me tell you, these, if I can do a little product placement, maybe they'll give us money. These are the best things ever. They're dark chocolate, sea salt, and caramel. But if you're not, if you're not a big fan of caramel, maybe you won't find them very exciting. I just think they're the best thing ever. Jesse's also not a fan of caramel. Which defies everything that I think about.
Try one. I don't dislike caramel. It's just there are things I like better. So when it comes to
I do like it
sweets.
in Snickers. There's a good balance of the...
Now,
because there's not as
they
much
call
caramel in
that
Snickers.
nougat. What is the difference between nougat and caramel?
No. It has nougat and caramel.
It has both.
Okay, so
They're
I guess
two
I've
different
gone
things.
through life not really knowing what nougat is. So I've kind of just like assumed it's some sort of variation on caramel.
Think of it like marzipan. If marzipan weren't terrible,
Actually, marzipan isn't terrible if you go to Europe. It's only terrible in the United States because it's so sickly sweet. If you go to Vienna or Spain and try the marzipan there, it's wonderful because it isn't sickly sweet. Those of you who are Europeans, am I right or am I right?
well, he's a European and he's saying that you're right.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Oh,
So does
Jake
Jake.
too. Oh. Oh wait, no.
mean,
I'm sorry.
I
They're not
hate-
Europeans. They're British.
I hate, ooh, low blow. I hate American marzipan because it's just so icky
Yeah.
sweet. But over in Europe, I love it.
By the way, Patrick here said that I think the best thing, if you're familiar with Milky Way or Three Musketeers, especially Three Musketeers, because I don't think Three Musketeers has caramel. It's just nougat in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, Three Musketeers. So what's inside of Three Musketeers is nougat.
But both Karis and Jake are saying Polish marzipan is the best.
Polish marzipan. Well, there's a reason to go for my next European trip.
There is a thing that I had. There is a candy I had in Poland that was incredible. It was kind of like halfway between British fudge and caramel, and you just sucked on it. It was so good, and I was so impressed by it that the people who were showing me around, they gave me a bunch of it to take back home when I left the first time.
And you distributed it all to your friends, didn't you?
Huh.
I don't seem to remember getting any.
Really? Probably because I coveted it too much, so I probably hid it from you. If it's out here, you know that it's available. The good stuff you'll never find. By the way, after having gone through all of that, I do like your idea of starting with claw if it's available. I know it's going to be another front valve one, but that's all right. There was always going to be 3 of one, 2 of the other. We'll just have to make sure that the 5th is a back valve one. This has this is a language with vowel harmony. It'd be like it's kind of like Turkish vowel harmony if a really, really, really crappy conlanger tried to implement it. It's, I mean, look at this word that we ended up with today.
By the way, having spent time in Turkey back in the spring of this year, I discovered, at least to my ear, that the Turkish language, the sound of the Turkish language, is ruined by that back unrounded vowel, that undotted I. It would be a very nice language to listen to, except they keep lapsing into that sound, and it may work for Japanese, but it don't work for Turkish. That's my subjective opinion.
Yeah. So this is the word that we came up with. Ukiwethe. This is a vowel harmonic obeying word. Ukiwethe.
So you got your unrounded and rounded in adjacent syllables. That's an interesting form of harmony. What's the rule?
The rule is essentially, as I'm looking at it, we just made a mistake, but what can you do now? Essentially, this sequence EW, it always produced E, and vowel harmony only goes this way.
Right words, huh?
Yeah. Now,
so you're sure they wouldn't assimilate to both to the fronted, rounded front vowel?
it is a very interesting question. It's nothing that we did in this language, but like.
In fact, while you're at it, how does that K stay there in front of a front rounded vowel? I mean, surely it palatalizes.
All right. Now you're just going full Turkish.
Going full papa.
Yeah. All right. So if we were going ich, how do we do that? Oh wait, I need to actually copy this.
It would come out as ijefe.
So we have ukiwethe and ichete.
And yachatha.
Yaghatha.
All I can say, guys, is for the amount of work and minutia you are putting into this language better appear in a TV series or a movie at some point.
I mean, it's going to be in the game, in little bits.
Well, then there better be a digital version of the game with narration, because this language needs to see the light of day if you're going to put this much work into it.
And this is just
what I mean by the light of day is a larger audience than simply your board gaming, aficionados and your podcast audience. So.
Oh, by the way, they're getting you for palatalizing, but I've heard it before. You said it a lot.
Have you heard it from anyone else but John? Because I had never heard that particular pronunciation before, and so I was like, oh, maybe I don't know how to say it. But then everyone else was like, what?
Only like Carl, but I'm pretty sure that Carl would say something like palatalize.
Hey, I happen to be a native speaker of a language that puts the stress on the first syllable of photograph, on the second syllable of photographer, on the third syllable of photographic. So I think that, if I want to say palatization or palatalization or whatever it is I said, I think I'm okay doing that because, I get to be flexible with syllabic stress.
No, not if David's in the room. Although I will say that you are the only person who has said something like that and gotten by the scorn of David. Whereas if I were to say anything like that, or Carl, we know if Carl were to say anything like that, Dave would be super quick to be like, "What?"
I also have another excuse or defense. Given that it's been, oh my goodness, 44 years since I've been inside as a student, been inside of a linguistics classroom. So,
So maybe it was
pardon me if I'm a little rusty on my terminology.
That's why I'm glad Carl's in your life, though, because I feel a lot of kinship with Carl, knowing that I also pronounce things in ways that you do not find palatal.
Yeah.
Palatable.
Palatable. Palatable.
Palatable. So I'm very happy that Carl is in your life because, and mine too. By extension.
You're definitely the Prue, and I'm the Paul Hollywood going up to John saying, "The pronunciation's a bit rustic, isn't it?"
sounds like a Liverpudlian accent or something.
Is he? No, yeah,
He's
he did.
northern.
No, he's not from Liverpool. He's north of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
because he's wherever he's from. He was very happy that Jill brought the spirit of where he's from, which was in northern England.
Yeah. You watch Bake Off, Great British Bake Off?
Oh gosh, no.
Oh, we love it.
I am not a fan of cooking shows, to tell you the truth.
Ooh.
Now, if you want to bring up
And this
the
is why
accents,
John's going to be locked away in a room for the rest of the weekend.
now, if you want to bring up the accents from various British BBC mystery shows, then we can have this conversation. So.
5, 6. That's way off. Sorry, the word count was way off. That should be that.
Okay.
Although when it comes to British accents, I have to my hat's off to the Yorkshire accent. I spent a week in Yorkshire last year, and the accent there definitely falls into what I call the truth is stranger than fiction category. I mean that people would pronounce the English language this way for real is just amazed me, completely amazed me.
Okay.
Paul Hollywood was born in Wallasey, Cheshire, England.
Oh,
I don't know how you would say those words, but that's where Paul Hollywood was born.
I'm gonna guess way.
Just something.
Harry Styles is British. Amy Winehouse was British.
Yes.
See, I had no idea about that.
Goodness, David.
Even I knew that, and I'm not a fan of 21st century pop music, and even I knew she was British.
And
Was
definitely
that the
Harry
21st
Styles.
century?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I guess
it.
it was the 21st century, wasn't it?
Oh, and Kara says that's across the estuary from Liverpool. God,
Oh,
love
I
that
see.
word. I love it. Okay.
Is that do you need to take a ferry across the Mersey to get there? Never mind. Bad joke.
Okay.
David.
Yeah.
So, for our final word,
Yeah.
we're going to create a root that means to scream,
Yeah.
to yell,
Uh-huh.
because the jaguars, those largest cats of the large mythical cats, are known for their piercing yells that you hear when they...
Oh.
They're also necromancers.
Oh.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know, like
Did-
that sound.
So the word we just created, that wasn't jaguar.
No, that was cougar.
Ooh. Whoops.
Cougar is a caster. And is...
Okay.
And so the jaguar is going to be known for that
Yeah.
scream that they have. And they're the necromancers. They're the, they work by the...
Someone wants to know
Light
how
of
I
the
say
moon.
Yeah. Just.
that particular feline.
Yeah.
Well, I was raised to say jaguar, but as it so happens, a family friend whom I met about 20 years ago was British and became very perturbed whenever they heard the American pronunciation of the word and would school everyone around them to pronounce it jaguar. So basically, I pronounce it jaguar if I remember to. Otherwise, I revert to my ignorant American pronunciation and say jaguar.
The British, instead of pronouncing the word, just spelling it by the time you get to the end of it. So okay, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't have anything for like a screech or a yelp or a yell.
I looked up scream, I looked up yell, I looked up roar. None of these
How about
brought
howl?
anything.
Howl.
By the way, where does leopard fall? Like, are leopards a type of like?
We looked this up.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember. Biblaridian. What's leopard? He sometimes watches and can be invoked sometimes.
It's the
Yeah.
Panther pardus. It's the Panthera class.
Yeah. Leopards are their own species. But, there's of course this movie, very, very good movie, recommend it, called Bringing a Baby. Actually, the first time on screen ever that the word gay was used to mean homosexual was in that movie. But there's the key plot point in this movie is that there's this leopard whose name is Baby, who's a very nice tame leopard that's gotten loose, and they're trying to get it back. And it just so happens that also at the same time there is a leopard that's escaped from a zoo who like mauled somebody. And of course Katharine Hepburn mixes up the leopards. But they're
Are you saying leopard or are you saying leper, a person with leprosy?
leopard.
Okay.
And so anyway, there's this character in this movie who is making a leopard yowl, and he does this thing where he like puts his fingers like this and goes like this, and it's very amusing.
Sounds like Chewbacca.
So Biblaridian says jaguars and leopards are different species, but panthers exist among both, because panther is just a coloring variation. Right, essentially, like panther, like is not actually an animal. It's just like if that animal happens to have all black fur.
Hey, Jake is saying he had the same thought as me. Only problem is I have no idea what thought he's referring to, since I usually can't remember my thoughts beyond a couple of seconds. So,
David?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we were to make this route,
Yeah.
one, I just pulled out an S because we have tons of K's, we have tons of other things going on, and I thought something fricative-y at the beginning would feel,
Sure.
it feels more screamy, John.
Yeah.
And so here are some options. Saatha, Sanatha, Sawatha, Suwothu. Suwotho.
Oh, because we haven't
We can
done
actually get the Otho.
we haven't done anything that.
I like those words. Not so much the last one, but the other ones. Very pretty
But
words.
we can get
Ooh. I got an error because there's no U. It's an O. Sorry.
It's OW is actually
Yeah.
what I put in.
Yeah, Suoto. Let's take a look at what we've got so far. Ijece. Wise? What? That's not what that should be.
What?
It's ukyuethe, not okyuethe.
Oh, I just made a typo then.
Okay. Ijece, ukyuethe. Yagatha, kalyethe. Oh man, I kind of like it ending in O and it being the only one.
So we could also just have SO as the protoform, and then Atha becomes Suotho.
Are you guys going to do words for the rarer cats, rarer felines as well? Like,
These are the 5 mythical cats that
Oh,
are
I
going,
see.
Yeah,
going
the
to go into clan
deities.
names,
Oh, I
and
see.
so not necessarily.
so you're not going to have one for a jaguarundi.
I have to say I actually like your last suggestion.
Suotho?
Yeah, Suotho. Because it's very, very different. It's very different, and I like that. And so it will distinguish, the jaguar. So you think of themselves as the king of cats.
Obviously.
The shagwar.
So that would, the way you spell it, there would be no W in it.
No, yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's W.
The last one I said was Suotho?
S-O-W.
Okay, so so you'd like that better than SO?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Finnish cat.
Ooh. We've met a very amiable Finnish cat.
A suotho.
What was the name of that cat?
Muku.
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 Such a pretty cat.
Okay, I don't 100% remember how this is going to work, but I know that I'm going to copy this one, and it's going to be S. It's going to be SU no matter what, right? Because SOW just becomes, just becomes Sue. By the way, this is created by somebody who watches us, Graham Hill. He created this thing called Lexergy, which is a sound change applier. And it kind of stores our languages in here, so we don't have to remember the sound changes. Sometimes sometimes it does surprising things, and it usually means that we've made some sort of mistake along the way. All right.
By the way, I have an idea for next season when we start it in January, David.
Yeah.
But first, let me put these forms in. So we would have intransitive, because this is intransitive, yeah?
Yeah, it is. Oh, we have different morphology for transitive and
I'm putting
intransitive
all
verbs.
the, I'm putting
Last
all
time I
the
do that.
proto-forms, that's transitive. Okay, and then we don't need that, but we do need that. Okay. So I think then the forms you're gonna need, David, are gonna be, Su is of course the base.
Yeah.
Su-woob,
That's the second one?
that is the intransitive telic. And then Su-wo, long O-K-H, is the atelic.
Okay.
And Sur is the negated with a GH at the end.
What? Wait, what?
Are you asking about the negation?
I am expecting 3 forms. I'm expecting the first one to be a nasalized vowel,
Nasalized.
then something ending in B, and then something with a long vowel ending in KH.
Wait, we had emphatic. That's what we needed. Emphatic indifference. Sorry. Let me. So, and then that would be. Okay, but the KH is going to come out as a GH.
I don't think that's right.
Suwon. Nasalized O.
Yeah.
Is the nasalized one.
Yes.
What are your stress rules?
This one's easy. Initial stress the whole way.
Oh, that was the oh form is what you get. So oob should be the next form, and then oh, long O K H.
Long OKH. Okay. Some of them are gha. Why are they gha? Oh, this is so confusing.
Where are you seeing?
You looking at?
Yeah, I wanted to see that. Fricative void.
Like the straight up negated form, but not with, because this has other morphology. If we were just to say didn't scream or didn't yell, it would be a GH at the end because that X would come after a W and it would turn it into, like it would voice it, it would do things. It was the WX coming together.
Okay.
By the way, just as a aside, I like McCain's word frixie as a shortened form of fricative-ish. Kind of reminds me of Gollum's Trixie.
Nice.
All right.
Okay,
I gotta go back. And write stuff. So it's AG or OG. It's supposed to be.
No, OOKH is the form that gets listed in the citation here.
How the?
We don't have any just straight negated. Like, we don't have any, like, just negated forms. This is the emphatic. Or that one is something else. That one's the telic or atelic one.
So that's supposed to be OOKH, not OGH?
OOKH is that form.
Why are some of them in the dictionary GH and with a short vowel?
I didn't see that under any intransitive verbs.
This one, ukuros, to be kind.
Wait, though, that's a different set of endings.
Did I make a mistake?
I need you to take a breath. We've got 12 different grammatical endings that go.
You're right, they're all transitive except for that one. I think I made a mistake.
Water's inside the refrigerator, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
you gotta open the... Sorry. I made a mistake. Okay, you're right. Okay.
That
So-
one was the transitive atelic, AGH would be that ending. And so you need the uku, what's the form?
It was the wrong one. That was why I was getting confused. Yeah, so we need an intransitive one here.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh wait, what's the proto form of uku?
OKEW.
Thank you. Okay, that comes out as eich,
Oh,
E-E-K-H.
no. But it's ukuros.
Oh,
So, so
what's
it's
the
following
next?
an O.
What's the next form? What's the proto form of ros?
ROS.
ROS? Okay. So that comes
All
out
right.
as ukuruso.
What?
Ukuruso. O-O-K-H.
Wait, no.
If you put O-K-E-W followed by
Okay.
R-O-S,
Okay.
it comes out as ukuru.
Oh, well, the protoform is actually R-S.
That makes a difference, I think.
This reminds me of the year I spent being a new romantic. For those of your audience who are old enough to remember that term.
All right,
Yeah.
so this is ukuroso, long O-K-H.
I grew my hair long in front for about a year, and so that I would have a lock of it that just hung over my face. And that way it looked like I could be a member of, Duran Duran or something. And
Did you say double OKH?
Double O-K-H.
Is that,
There should be an O-B form,
yeah.
ukuroso, and ukuroson, with a nasal O.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. That's another previous mistake we made that we fixed.
you guys got a lot of mistakes in here.
Yeah.
It seems like half the time I've been here, you guys have spent correcting previous mistakes. So
And the other half of the time I'm trying to corral David.
I know.
And John is no help.
I know. Meanwhile,
I'm a bad influence.
John here, he's like spends years working on his website, decides, okay, it's perfect now, and then presents it to the web when there are no mistakes.
Basically, I do present it to the web, but not because it's perfect. It's because I've gotten sick of working on it. So I'm just going to throw out whatever I've got at that moment. So
Yeah. All right. Okay. So now that we've done that, we have the verb for to yell. Let's at least finish that.
And so now suotho
Yeah.
is
All right. Su, o, oob. So we have to yell, to screech, to yell, to scream in a frightening, cattish way, and so now we need the atha form. And so I'm going to grab this one. Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
Alright. I'm going to make sure I get all these English.
There we go. That R. And so this is going to be su-o-to.
My gosh, this is our first Y word here.
Okay.
now you said these cats are mythical. Who's speaking this language?
Non-mythical cats.
Okay, so it is cats.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have like 4 different trill sounds in the phonology?
We had 2. We had r and r.
Seems to me you need a uvular trill in there somewhere.
That was a uvular trill. What else was that going to be?
Sounded retroflex to me.
Oh, r. No.
Okay, there's your... Yeah, now I hear it. Okay.
If it sounded retroflex, that would be truly extraordinary. I did do it with the back of my tongue. Maybe it's just I rounded my lips. Okay.
I think you should put the Czech fricative trill in there, just to say that there's an actual conlang that uses the Czech fricative trill.
Is that how it works?
When I was in the Czech Republic, it sounded to me like Dvořák. Although I can't pronounce it.
Dvořák.
Dvořák. Except I can't pronounce it except very fortis, and they pronounce it lenis. They pronounce it very softly, and I'm not able to pronounce the sound unless I do it very strongly, very fortis.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And I'm going to assume that these are right, following an O. And this is Jaguar, finally. Did I ever tell you about the little joke language idea that Jeff Jones and I came up with? It was a language called Jaguar.
Nope, I don't remember that one.
It was a language where the verb always had to be inflected for where the jaguar was. And otherwise it was a normal language. And they were like, what if there was no jaguar? It's like, well, the jaguar is always around. And wouldn't you want to know where it is?
Well,
so even if something that's like, saying like, how are you doing today? The verb are would have to be inflected for where the jaguar is at that moment.
When I was on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, they have some weird adverbial forms in their English that require you to tell where the direction of the mountain is. The central volcano.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, no, nobody's going to say Linus. It's for Lenus.
Lenus.
Fortis and Lenus. Nobody's going to say Linus. There once was a stop that was Linus. I mean, come on. That's why nobody's going to say that.
Well, if you get those lean-nighted stops.
Lean-nighted.
He's a Lenite. We call him Sir.
And the band of Lenites came over the mountain into Canaan and
I think you mean Canaan.
and met the Fortites.
All right.
Sounds like you got a case of lean-ition.
I think that's a good place to end the stream.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go get Meridian.
Right that time, and we got things, and as David mentioned, we did not prepare the room for John, so
No. Oh yeah, they all heard that.
Every
didn't
room
they?
I have ever arrived in has never been prepared for my arrival. It's that simple.
It would have been if it were up to me, but I needed David's strength, so I'll blame him. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you to John for coming and
ruining your podcast. Yes,
making this a DMV spectacular.
Spectacular.
We will see. Oh God, Jonathan. Ouch, but so true.
Yeah. D&D 6.0 is going to be called DMV. Okay.
Thank you all. Stay grammar. See you next Thursday for, I think, more Sarkezhe fun.
Let's go get Frixie.
Yeah. That will be one of the last things they hear.